The last thing that we have for this chapter is nutritional genomics. Nutritional genomics is this. Study of nutrigenomics and nutrigenics. Oh my gosh, how vague of a bad explanation is that? All right, so then let's break it down. What's nutrigenetics? Well, it looks at how inherited genetic variation, your genes, influences your body's response to specific nutrients. Okay, nutrigenics, how your genes, okay, influence the body's response to nutrients, macros, micros, the combination of which you consume. Nutrigenomics looks at how nutrients affect the expression of a person's genome. So one's looking at how genes influence the body's ability to utilize fat, utilize carbs. The other branch looks at how those food components, fats, carbs, influence gene activation. This is a huge area of research. There's a pretty significant body of scientific studies now. I believe there used to be, I don't know if they still exist with the, after the pandemic and all, but there used to be a company that would advertise a lot, tailoring a nutritional plan based on your genetics. So there is a lot of possibilities, probably the best word, that comes to when looking at how nutrition and genes influence one and the other. And again, I have one study right here, but there's a lot out there. There's some that was just published just a handful of years ago, looking at it from the infant standpoint, looking at mother's health, father's health prior to conception, during conception, and what that means for success or failure, if you will, for their ability to utilize carbs, to utilize sugars, fats, whatnot. And it's a pretty fascinating area of research. Genes, genes can be turned on and off in response to metabolic signals, metabolic activity. And all of this input is coming in from a vast number of factors: hormonal, enzymes, external environment, internal environment as well with the metabolic signals, right? Diet, that would be an external factor, right? And so there's a lot of things that are turning on and off genes we are discovering. And this is from the new from the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And there's a long-winded quote there, but the practical application of this on a personalized level requires knowledge of an individual's potential susceptibility to disease. Family history, that's going to be a big one. What's your family history? I've said my family history multiple times. I have, dad who had a heart attack at 45 and died from it. He was a smoker. He didn't eat very well and didn't exercise all that much in his adult life. I had a mom. She had ovarian cancer. Beat it once, couldn't beat it again. She was in her 50s. Dad had high blood pressure. I have grandparents, their parents, who had dementia, high blood pressure, diabetes, lost a kidney, breast cancer. So family history plays a huge part in it. Okay, biochemical parameters. That's going to be, going in and doing some blood work, doing a urinalysis, doing a genetic test if you're so desired. All of these biochemical parameters, along with family history, gives you a really idea of, do you have the potential to be really susceptible to these very chronic conditions that we just started talking about? Obesity, high blood pressure, hyperlipidemia. There's a genetic case of hyperlipidemia, even if you do have a very clean diet. And knowing all that and tailoring a diet that looks into all of those aspects, your mother's, health prior, during, all of that we could put into this nice book of you. And this has the potential to be really helpful in helping to head off at the pass, if you will, the development of these chronic diseases. Okay. If you knew that in 30 years, let's say 10, if you knew in 20, 30 years that you're going to have high blood pressure and you're going to be on different medication for high blood pressure, cholesterol buildup, clogged arteries, if you knew that already and you were told, hey, you could subscribe to this diet pattern, your genes have these markers in them, and if certain things happen, increase in weight changes the metabolism of a number of different structures, right? We talked about it earlier, metabolic syndrome. It's going to affect hormones. It's going to affect enzymes. It's going to affect information coming into the cells. They're going to respond and act different. If you were told that you could, hey, eat this way for the next 20 years, you won't have that nonsense of taking pills upon pills upon pills and just being in poor health and not feeling good about yourself, would you do it? I would. And if I could go back and tell my mom and dad, I would tell them to.